Guys, we're live. Okay.
All right.
Hey, Eric. How's it going?
Fantastic, Tina. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you too. So, well, hold on. Before we start, we should do the customary hi guys together. So we count to three, and then we say hi guys. You gotta do it.
All right. Ready? Three, two, one.
Hi
Hi,
guys.
guys.
And then, of course, I'm Tina Hui with Follow Coin, and we're here with Eric Martindale of BitPay. I think you could do a better introduction of yourself if you would like to share who you are with everybody.
Sure. So I'm Eric Martindale. I'm the developer evangelist at BitPay. I'm responsible for all of our open source products and making sure that anybody who's using them gets the support they need.
Well, I've seen you on a lot of different speaking panels, and you're very, very well versed in code, especially.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'd like to think so. But yeah, my former lives, my last company, I was a founder and CTO, and I've been an engineer pretty much my entire career.
Wow. So tell us about what you're doing in St. Petersburg right now. Did you just fly in? Is that what I'm understanding?
That's right. We landed this morning. We've had a couple boots on the ground here for pretty much the whole week. We started actually in the summer bringing people out here and preparing for this event. It is the Bitcoin Bowl here in St. Petersburg. We have chosen a sponsor for 3 years, a college bowl game to raise awareness around Bitcoin and the sort of the ecosystem of ATMs and wallets and exchanges and everything we can do and support as many businesses as possible who are choosing to accept Bitcoin.
So tell us about why St. Petersburg, why football, what's the connection between BitPay being such a large sponsor and part of making this happen?
Yeah, so we're a merchant services focused company. So we wanted to sort of, now that we've been around for 3 years, sort of expose the general public to what Bitcoin is, to sort of, now that we've worked our way through all of, the underlying technical problems, some of the awareness problems, there's enough consumers out there, sort of looking at and using Bitcoin in their day-to-day lives. We wanted to find something that was more mainstream. And we happened to come across these college bowl games, and we found one that was coming up that was available. So we jumped right on it. We felt the timing was right. It just happened to be in St. Petersburg, which coincidentally, being in Florida, there's a very strong Bitcoin community here. In fact, BitPay was founded in Orlando, and with a lot of the Latin culture, the remittance market is huge. So there's already a groundswell of momentum behind Bitcoin. So while it happened to be in St. Petersburg, the Bitcoin Bowl really works out because the community is already very strong here.
Well, that's great. And then, so do you think there are a lot of Bitcoin or football fans that are curious about Bitcoin and vice versa? What are your thoughts?
I don't think so, and I think that's really the advantage of sponsoring a college bowl game is we're talking to fans now who may or may not, maybe they watch NASCAR and they saw the Dogecoin sponsorship, or maybe they've heard about it a little bit, but they certainly haven't gotten the full story. And what we're here to do, and why we've brought so many people out here, is to make sure that people do in fact get the full story.
Right, so you're kind of our correspondents there, right, on the ground as of now. When did you fly in? What's it looking like on ground zero, if we were to call it that?
Sure. So I landed this morning at 11 a.m. on Christmas Day. We took a ride in from Tampa into St. Petersburg, and we took a walk out, and we saw a couple merchants actually with Bitcoin stickers in their car. We checked into our stickers on their window. We checked into our hotel, and this hotel Zamora here in Madeira Beach. They're actually accepting Bitcoin right at the counter, which is really fantastic.
Oh, wow.
And then we went out and about. We saw a few businesses accepting Bitcoin, and it's actually really exciting. We got to go out on the beach and participate in the ESPN sort of it was the battle of the bands. The two marching bands from the various teams sort of competed in a number of events, not only playing music but tug of war. There's a lot of excitement right now, a lot of energy, a lot of people getting ready for tomorrow's game.
So Who do you think's gonna win?
Oh, NC State is definitely going to win. I'm North Carolina. The only time you'll
That's
ever
who
find.
you're rooting for, 100%.
Yeah, of course. So my opinion may be a bit biased, but the only time you'll actually find me rooting for NC State is here in the Bitcoin Bowl because I am a UNC fan at heart.
So, what's it? Is it mostly BitPay that is supplying merchants with services down there, or is it like a bunch of other different, I guess, service providers?
Yeah, the spread, as far as I can tell, is majority BitPay. We did, as I said, send some people down here during the summer just to make sure that all of these merchants got the training they needed. Were aware of what Bitcoin was. Were aware of the Bitcoin Bowl that was coming. We wanted to make sure that they had the support they needed. So most of them have partnered with us at this point.
Are you guys going to be publishing numbers as to how much money the town made? Because I understand it's like maybe almost 100 merchants.
There's definitely more than 100 merchants now. I don't think that we'll be publishing exact numbers. We have been working very closely with OpenStreetMap and publishing as many of these venues and sort of facilitating the process of getting these venues onto OpenStreetMap as being accepting Bitcoin. So the best way to check those numbers is just to go look at coinmap.org or directly to OpenStreetMap and looking for the accepting Bitcoin flag.
Check those out, guys. It's going to be awesome. I think it's going to be fun to see, how everything is at the game as well. But I understand that Tropicana Field did not get Bitcoin acceptance, right?
Yeah, Tropicana Field itself, the owner of the stadium and the team that plays at the stadium, we had some discussions with, and he's not on board the Bitcoin boat just yet. But as far as the local businesses and a lot of the vendors, absolutely they are accepting Bitcoin. But I have a feeling that after this game is all said and done, he'll come on over to the Bitcoin side.
It's called the Bitcoin side for sure. So, I mean, tough life. You guys are stuck there next to the beach. So.
Yeah, it's the middle of December. In fact, I just put my shoes back on after coming back from the beach. The weather is fantastic. It was a little overcast when we came in, but we got the chance to see the sunset, so it's been fantastic.
So you're super excited. What time does the game start tomorrow for people tuning in?
I don't know offhand. There will be festivities on ESPN starting in mid-afternoon, and then I'm sure you'll be able to catch the showtimes right there on ESPN.
Got it. We'll be sure to link folks to this Follow the Coin at the end of this YouTube video. But yeah,
Absolutely.
good to ask. And then I think you wrote something last night, didn't you? Just for the holidays.
Yeah, I was kind of feeling the Christmas cheer, and I thought in the spirit of old Saint Nick, I thought I'd do a Bitcoin or a crypto anarchist rendition of a visit from Saint Nick. And I called it A Message from the President. And I posted that on Reddit, posted it on GitHub so people can make modifications as they see fit. And I also licensed it to the public domain. So do with it what you will.
So why a message from the President?
Well, the theme of A Visit from Saint Nick is this sort of story that the man and his wife and their kids, were surprised to find, Saint Nick, this fantastic magical figure, appear in their home and provide the presents. And I thought, here we are in this era of NSA spying and, crypto and crypto finance and Bitcoin. And I said, wouldn't it be cool? Wouldn't it be just fantastic in the literal sense of the word if, just suddenly, rather than us having to fight for freedom and for liberty, maybe someone, who is responsible for, eliminating liberty and freedom actually came out and spoke out and said something in support of it and changed the world for the better. So it is sort of a vision, if only this could be true. So it's a bit hopeful.
I was gonna, I can't help myself, but ask if you're trying to run for president of Bitcoin or something.
If I was trying to run for what?
President of Bitcoin or something like that.
No, not at all. Bitcoin should not have a president. It should not have an authoritative body in charge of it. It should be decentralized.
I agree. Well, we're big on decentralization, open platforms, and crowdsourcing. We just like to poke fun all the time at Follow the Coin, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I think there's only one thing left. You have to read this out loud to us.
Oh, all right, all right. If you must, it's a bit long, so you're gonna have to bear with me here, okay?
Okay.
Let's see what we got. All right, you just want me to roll into it?
Go on in. Yes.
Sure. All right. 'Twas the night before Christmas, when all through the net, all the miners a-whirring, even Arduino once set. The PetaScript hashes were set up with care, in hopes that entropy soon would be theirs. The Doge were posting, all cute in their memes, while visions of moon landings played out in their themes. The speculators with their charts, and I with my stash, transactions and messages we all did hash. When out on the free net there arose such a clatter, I fired up my Tor client to see what was the matter. Onto IRC I authenticated with my key. My chat rooms they opened to find out what I could see. The messages of Moon flew past with such haste, I could only conclude that it was all copy-paste. The news it had landed I could not believe. Governments to dissolve, the world to be freed. With my warm little treasure so lively and quick, I thought for a moment that it must be a trick. Faster than fiber the prices did rise. It must be true, the free markets did surmise. They had drafted a bit message to the banks it had been spread. We reject your debt-back money, it had even said. It was happening, I just couldn't believe. Yet there was the signature, the president's own GPG. Of Turing, of Zimmerman, of Diffie and Hellman, of Koblitz and Miller and Merkel alike, of Rothbard and Mises, of Bastiat and Hayek, of course Bombauer I too like, of Orwell, of Huxley and Bradbury too, of Gibson and Stevenson, the futures you all knew, of Bach, of Szabo, and all in between. Satoshi is in all of us, it does in fact seem. These ideas were sound, we finally see. Let the future of humanity be entirely free. With face aghast, it was there I sat. What had been written? It couldn't be that. Charlie and Ross, all charges they dropped. Manning and Assange, their message not forgot. All cabals disbanded, all assets to be released. Media, health, and education. Free markets no longer policed. To speak our minds, share our thoughts, and no longer protect. Finally, free speech for all on this new internet. All trade to be freed, no crimes to be had, no permission to seek, no laws to make us mad. Central planning gone wrong, the people would fix, as once and for all we'd finally mix. Just like that, with the click of a mouse, outwards like wildfire the governments did espouse. One by one they followed the lead, onwards to liberty they marched with speed. They stepped out of the way of the people's desires. The smaller they became, the fewer the fires. Until after it was all said and done, no more states, no more wars to be won. I thought back to when it all happened. The idea of authority, it got me a-laughing. As I sat there thinking in the month of December that it's history we must always remember. Weary and tired we were, quite a long road it had been, but vindicated we became as someone clicked send. For liberty is action free from constraint, within the limits of our peers, not laws someone did paint. And that's it.
That was great. Well, I mean, I think everybody enjoyed it. You've got quite a few upvotes on Reddit, so, you know, very good job.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and well, obviously, you know the industry since you've made a lot of references to some of the bigger news items and events of the year. So.
Yeah, well, we've got a fantastic team here. I'm very proud to be working with these guys. It's utterly amazing. I've never had the opportunity to work every day with everyone around me being way, way smarter than I am. So it's absolutely fantastic.
And passionate. Everyone's extremely passionate in Bitcoin.
Yeah, we wake up energized. We come in. We fight tooth and nail to make the change happen that we're looking for in the world.
Well, look at us. It's Christmas Day, and where are we doing a live hangout?
That's right. Yeah, and here I am traveling, for the Bitcoin Bowl. So
quite a few people are traveling. What was the airport like for folks that are going to do holiday travel?
Yeah, the airport was pretty free, but I mean we chose to fly today rather than Christmas Eve. But the amount of team members that we got here just shows the outpouring of support for the Bitcoin Bowl from the Bitcoin ecosystem and, of course, from within BitPay.
I almost went too, so I mean, I'm there in spirit, 100%.
Yeah. You are there in spirit, and trust me, we will carry that spirit onward as we go out tonight and tomorrow.
Right, and then you have to tell us, you got to recap everything on our show next week, was it, that we're going to do another show? Weekly?
Absolutely.
Great. And did you watch the interview like everybody else seemed to do yesterday on the internet?
No, I didn't watch the interview. I almost purchased it for Bitcoin via Microsoft.
Right,
You can
Xbox.
you can buy Xbox points using Bitcoin and then use those points to buy the interview. However, I will admit I'm waiting until I can torrent it. So.
Well, of course you're going to torrent it.
That's right. In spirit, and then I'll determine whether or not I'd like to pay for it.
Yeah, I don't know. I hear a lot of mixed reviews from people who have seen it, so might be to wait.
Yeah, mixed reviews aside, I'm somewhat skeptical of whether or not it was actually just a giant marketing ploy or one of the best marketing ploys of all time, or whether it was some kid in his garage hacking Sony, or whether it was a Sony insider. I don't know. I'm very skeptical that it was the North Korean government. It just seems too perfect.
I do too. I'm pretty sure it seems like an elaborate, very well thought, but slightly horrific because you're starting to almost launch a war marketing plan.
Certainly one of the more amusing events of the year.
Definitely. Well, thanks for stopping in. I mean, is there anything else that we should know about Bitcoin this week, you think, for Christmas week?
No, that's it. Just make sure to spend time with your families and answer and help educate about what crypto finance and Bitcoin are. Don't get too zealous. Just enjoy time with your families.
Maybe we should ask you. Okay, so Eric, what is Bitcoin? Everyone's favorite question.
Yeah, of course. Bitcoin is a new type of currency, a new way of transacting that doesn't have ties to a bank or a government, and instead just relies on, between you and your peer, you and your friends, or whoever you're paying. It just relies on math to ensure the security of that system. And math is a lot more trustworthy than a bank or a government.
It's a very good answer. I'm going to select these. That's what I'm going to do. January 2015, people are going to avoid me because I'm going to be asking them at CES, in Miami, all over, hey, what is Bitcoin?
It's really funny. Over the past year, I've had the opportunity. I like asking that question too, especially from people who I know. They know what it is, and I've asked them, the same people, the same question a couple of times, and their answers change. Right? They change over time, and I find that really interesting. So it depends on the audience, and it depends on what the individual's perception of this whole idea is, and where they think adoption's at. So.
I agree with you 100%. We actually, our very first Follow the Coin video was in December last year at the Inside Bitcoin's Vegas conference, and we actually I had interviewed, and this was by accident, but we ended up interviewing Rob Pierce, Charlie Lee, all of these, Sean Percival, and asking them, hey, what do you guys think Bitcoin is one of the questions, and it was really surprising time and time again. It was almost same kind of answers for what's a blockchain, but when you ask what Bitcoin is, it depends, what people's work is about, what they're passionate about, what their perception and interest is. But Bitcoin has an answer for everyone. So
yeah, I think that's really why it is continuing to grow as much as it has. Is the more you look into it, the more you realize just how significant the impact on the entire world is going to be. And it's gonna and it also makes you realize how much time it is actually going to take. Like, it's not going to happen, in an instant. I mean, it's already been 5 or 6 years now since Bitcoin itself has been out, and much longer for cryptocurrencies in general. But now that you realize, it's all bundled up in this nice, neat little package, and you see all of these entrepreneurs starting all of these different, endeavors in various industries, you realize, this is a big one. This is perhaps the single greatest innovation that has happened Certainly since the internet, and if not in human history, this changes everything.
I agree. Actually, so Ben Losky, the superintendent of the New York State Department of Financial Services, always have to remember what those all stand for. He actually just recently keynoted an event where he did speak about the impending bit license, and he was actually surprisingly pro Bitcoin. He was saying financial sector hasn't been disrupted in decades and is due for change since things are quite backwards and stringent. Just there's a lot of roadblocks, so it's nice to be able to be on the forefront of innovating financial world or tech news, isn't it?
Yeah, it's. I wake up every morning and I practically have to pinch myself to think about where I'm about to go to work and what I'm about to do every single day. It's amazing. It's a true honor to be able to work on this like bleeding edge of, frankly, changing the world. Startups always talk about, we're going to change the world. Well, one thing I learned is, it's important to change the world, but it's more important to change the world for the better, right? You have to add that little extra for the better thing. And working with Bitcoin and BitPay and all of man, I wish I could tell you all the crazy things we're working on behind the scenes. But it really is a true honor. We're really on the bleeding edge here, and this is such an honor. It's fantastic.
So, well, what do you think the impact is? I mean, because I think for some people it's still very vague, and I know what the impact is. I mean, I wake up very excited, and I feel honored being here too. So I think we should talk a bit about what that impact is for folks that may not be so familiar with Bitcoin.
Yeah, sure. So right now there's a large number of intermediaries that have built up entire industries, billions of dollars per industry, per company often, of third parties that facilitate a service because something in the market is difficult. This is totally normal capitalism. The thing that's a rub, however, is when those intermediaries, those third parties, sort of get so large that they start to actually counteract the thing that they started to solve, right? They start to do vendor lock-in, as we saw with some of the software companies through the late 90s and early 2000s. The education industry, the healthcare industry, they become so deeply entrenched in the market that they just simply become inefficient. And this includes the government itself. Right? The larger it becomes, the older it gets, the slower and more inefficient it becomes, the more averse to positive change it becomes, because they're no longer about innovation or solving a problem. They're rather about self-sustaining.
Right.
So what Bitcoin and crypto finance really does is it allows the platform, the tooling necessary to sort of to grease the axles, if you will, to sort of to lubricate this process of advancing society and improving the way certain industries might work. So remittance market is a great example. Right now we have massive multi-billion-dollar companies like Western Union sort of serving as an intermediary for sending money from one country to another. Well, because sending money from one country to another previously, before the internet and certainly before Bitcoin, because that was hard, that's why they exist. But now that there is a very easy way to do that, those companies become completely disintermediated or eliminated, and this technology allows things to become much more efficient, much more quickly, with far fewer third parties.
Yeah, it's a really exciting thing to realize you're going to be able to impact the way. There's actually a really great chart. Somebody just posted it today. I'm going to try and stick the image in, about what the impact of remittance is globally and how that money gets spent, and when people from overseas come work someplace like the U.S. where there's a lot more opportunity, and then they get to go back and feed their entire families for a year in just maybe a week's salary. That's that's impact right there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've been really pleased this year specifically to see more and more remittance-based startups cropping up, and traction with the existing ones really succeeding. That I think is one of the best cases. That and like charities, knowing that your money is going directly to the people on the ground who are operating that the actual footwork of that charity, like Sean's Outpost and a number of other things. It's just fantastic being able to track these things and see real change happening this year. So I'm very hopeful for 2015 and seeing all of the things that are going to happen as a result.
What's the thing that you're most excited about in 2015?
Honestly, so there was a lot of pragmatism at play in the crypto finance space. The sort of hype bubble feeling is fading away, and there's a lot of sort of entrepreneurs who come to the field with honestly not practical ideas. They're starting to fall by the wayside, while the ones that are truly good ideas, ones that really solve a real world problem that people are having right now, those are going to succeed. So honestly, I can't pick a specific startup, but what I'm excited for is the growth of pragmatism within the Bitcoin space.
Right, better business practices, some experienced entrepreneurs, people who know what they're doing, have a clear roadmap, have vision, and kind of just goals.
That's right. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't want to discourage people from doing absolutely the best things they can. But the entrepreneurial process is a difficult one. It is a difficult path to take, and it requires you to do due diligence and research and truly understand. Find a real problem, talk to real people having issues, and solve that problem, and that will make anyone successful.
Well, there's the real state of the address of the year, I think. So, well, thank you, Eric, and thanks for writing up, a message from the president is what we're going to call it, right?
Yeah.
Epic. And so, well, go enjoy the Bitcoin Bowl, ring in the new year, let us know how it is, and I guess I'll see you sometime next year.
Absolutely. Thanks for the time, Tina. It's been fantastic, and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Also, Happy New Year's. I don't think I'm speaking to you until after the New Year, so.
All right. Well, then I'll see you in 2015.
Yes, and then we're going to do a regular show with you, so it's going to be awesome.
Excellent, Tina. I'm looking forward to it.
Thanks, Eric.
Yep. Bye-bye, Tina.
Bye, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Let's see. Stop.